Hello everybody, let's go ahead and take a look at 3 of the problems from your most current model drawing assignment. The first one deals with ratios. They're a lot easier to work with than you think. The ratio of children 5 years old and younger to children ages 6 through 12 to teenagers to adults at the water park on Saturday was 2 to 9 to 7 to 6. There were 300 adults at the park. How many people in all were at the water park? So, first things first, for this problem, our key clue is this one right here, that there were 300 adults at the park. So when we're taking a look at these ratios, we're comparing the number of teens to the number of adults to the number of 5-year-olds and younger, using these ratios of 2 to 9 to 7 to 6. So if we set them up using our units, it actually makes them much easier to work with. So we have kids that are 5 years old or younger, so I'm just going to write a 5 for that one. Okay. We have kids that are 6 through 12, so I'm just going to go ahead and put a 6 there. We have teenagers, they're going to get a T. And then we also have adults. Okay. The ratio again for these guys is 2 to 9 to 7 to 6. So that means I would give my 5-year-olds or younger 2 units. That would mean then that my 6 to 12 would get 9 units. I'm just going to kind of draw a box and write 9U in there. And then for my teenagers, 7 things, slightly smaller box, I'm going to write 7U. Now for my adults, there's 6 units. So I'm going to give them 6 units. Okay, so now that key clue right there, where it says there were 300 adults, means that my 6 units right here are worth 300. Now, if 6 units are worth 300, then 1 unit is going to be worth 50. Because 300 divided by 6 is 50. Okay? Now I can actually go back and I can answer the question, how many people in all were at the water park? Well, up here I know that I have 50 times 2 units. Here I have 50 times 9 units, 50 times 7, and down here I still have, of course, my 300. So we take our totals for each of the age groups. We have 100 for our 5 years or younger. Our 6 to 12s would be 50 times 9, so we have our 450. We then have our teenagers, which gives us a grand total of 350. And of course we have our adults, which we already knew was 300. We add all of these up and we find out that the total number of people at the water park equaled 1,200. Let's take a look at the second problem. Now this problem was meant to challenge you. It has multiple steps and we're also going to have to be very flexible with our problem solving. So in March, the total savings of Oliver, Asia, Hassan, and Abby was $1,440. In April, their savings became equal when Oliver's savings doubled, Asia's savings decreased by 30, Abby's savings increased by 46, and Hassan's savings remained the same. Find their total savings in April. Well, to start figuring this problem out, I'm actually going to go ahead and make 2 models at the same time. Since we're talking about Oliver, Asia, Hassan, and Abby, we're going to go ahead and put them on our models. So up here in March, I'm going to put Oliver, Asia, Hassan, and Abby. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing down here for April. Now it says that Oliver's savings doubled in April. So we're going to start with that one clue. If his savings doubled in April, we're going to start him off with 1 unit, and then in April, it doubled. Now that means that in March, he only had 1 unit. So we're only going to give him that unit. Now, I'm going to kind of take a look at my clues here because it said that Hassan's savings remained the same. Now, since we know that everybody was equal in April and Hassan's savings remained the same, I'm going to go ahead and come down here and give Hassan 2 units, which would mean he has the same amount that Oliver had. So now, same thing up here then. Hassan has 2 units. And by the way, I kind of skipped ahead a little bit because up here in March, our savings are worth $1,440. Down here in April, we do not know yet. So, question mark. Now let's come on back up to the top. Now it says Asia. Her savings decreased by 30. When her savings decreased by 30, she had the same amount of Oliver and Hassan. Which means up here, we're also going to give her 2 units. And we had up here plus 30. Since she had to lose that, had a debt of 30 in order to get to the 2 units, we're going to have her up here with a gain of 30. Now that brings us to Abby, and Abby can be a little bit tricky. It says that Abby increased by 46. Now when I was solving this the first time, I was like, okay, well, if she had 1 unit and she increased by 46, it must look something like that. Now, that makes it look like, though, that these 2 units, or all these units, are going to be 46. And that kind of raised the red flag right away because 46 times 7 gets us nowhere near 1,440. So after reflecting on my work and thinking about what I was doing, I realized that this is definitely not set up correctly. So, let's see if we can go back and fix Abby's. Now when it says that Abby's increased by 46, that's telling us that Abby had 1 unit. In order to get to the 2 units, she must have had a little bit of a second unit and then added on the other 46. So we're going to do the same thing up here. She had a little bit of a second unit. In March, we're going to go ahead and take away that 46. Okay? So, down here in April, Oliver's amount doubled. Asia's was equal to Oliver's after losing 30. Hassan's never changed. And Abby's 1 unit plus a little bit of something right there, plus that 46 to get her to the same amount that everyone else had. Now looking at this, I'm kind of confused. I have 1 unit here, 2 units, plus 30, 2 units here, a unit here, well, some kind of a smidge of a unit, and a loss or a debt of 46, and all of this equals $1,440. Well, I don't know about you, but I like working with nice, full, equal units. So the only unit, or the only part of this model that's giving me any trouble right now is this little section right here. I don't know what this here is worth, but I do know that if I added 46, I would get a whole nother unit, which would be great, because then I would have 7 units plus 30 equaling my amount over here. So I think I should actually be able to do that. If I add 46 over here, well, that means I also need to add 46 over here. Because originally, all these things plus that little smidge add up to 1440, because I didn't have the 46. That was a loss. So now, or a debt. But now I'm going to treat it like a gain. I'm going to go ahead and put this 46 on here to actually make this a second unit for Abby. So now I'm looking at $1,486. Now, this definitely looks much friendlier. Now I'm looking at a total of 1,486, and that's worth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units plus 30. Now this is like any old model drawing problem that we've solved previously. How do we figure out what 7 units plus 30 is worth? Well, we get rid of our 30, and that leaves us with 1,456. And just to give myself a little bit of room, we're going to mosey on over here, and now we're going to take a look at 1,456 being worth 7 units, which means 1 unit is going to be worth $208. Now, the nice thing is we can now take this information down to the April model and apply it. We know that everybody has 2 units. Oliver has 2 units. Asia has 2 units after she lost the 30. And we know that Hassan has 2 units. And we know that Abby even has 2 units after she gained the 46. So that means $208 times 8, which gives us a grand total of $1,664. Booyah. Let's tackle the last problem. This problem was meant to challenge you. It has multiple steps, and you may have to be a little bit flexible and possibly change the order of the clues. So, Patty earned an extra $35 on Monday and an extra $16 on Tuesday. Now, after that, her friend Betsy had 2/5 as much as their neighbor Jerry and 1/3 as much as Patty. If the three of them together had $162.76 in the end, how much money did Patty start with? Since we're talking about Patty, Betsy, and Jerry, we're going to go ahead and use those initials to help set up the model. So we've got Betsy, we've got Jerry, and we have Patty. Now we're going to kind of skip over what Patty earned on Monday and Tuesday, and we're going to go to the first clue, which is going to help us figure out how many units to give Betsy. So here it says that after that, her friend Betsy had 2/5 as much as their neighbor Jerry. So that right away, that 2/5 is telling us that Betsy has 2 units. We'll go ahead and give Betsy 2 units. Now, that also gives us a little bit of information for Jerry. If Betsy has 2/5 of what Jerry has, then Jerry has 5 units. There we go. So there we have 5 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 units. So now let's try to figure out how much Patty has. Now, Betsy has 2/5, right here, 2/5 of what Jerry has, 5/5, and 1/3 as much as Patty. Okay, so that's kind of pretty much saying that Betsy's 2/5 are equal to Patty's 1/3. Okay, well, let's see. If that is Betsy's 2 units, then 2 of her units are equal to 1 out of 3 of Patty's. So let's go ahead and give her her 2/3 and her 3/3. So, pretty sweet. So 2/5 is equal to 1/3. Perfect. So now we see how much Betty has, or how much we have for Jerry, and how much we have for Patty. Now, one thing I'm going to go ahead and do right away, because I'm seeing this, is these guys are all split. But down here, I've got one whole unit that actually looks like it's the exact same as these two. So I'm going to go ahead and split these guys. Okay. Awesome. So now, this entire thing, 2 units, these 5, and these 6, are worth $162.76. So now let's take a look at the information that we skipped over at the beginning. Patty earned an extra $35 on Monday and an extra $16 on Tuesday. We're trying to figure out how much money Patty started with. Okay, so this is all Patty's moolah right there. Now, we're trying to figure out how much she started with. We know that she earned 35 and she earned 16. But we're kind of unsure how many units are actually going to equal that 35 and that 16. We're really kind of looking at it like this. Question mark, that's the kind of the much money she started with, plus $35, plus 16. So again, we really can't assign that 35 and the 16 to a specific unit or units. So what should we do here? Well, if we're unsure of how many units equal 35 and 16, let's only focus on what we do know, at least for right now. Right now, we do know this, that these 2 units, plus these 5, plus these 6, or 13 units, equal $162.76. So, kind of already did this on the side, but that's telling me that I should probably just go ahead and divide $162.76 by 13. When I do that, I find that 1 unit equals $12.52. Now, these problems always have a key that helps unlock these problems, and I think that figuring out what 1 unit is worth is going to help us solve the rest of it now. Because if we know that 1 unit's worth $12.52, and we know how many units Patty has, we can solve for how much she started with. Patty has 6 units. And so we're going to find that 6 units times 1252, which is the value of 1 unit, we figure out that Patty has a total right now of $75.12. Now, we also know that she gained some money on Monday and Tuesday. So if we deduct the amount of money that she made on Monday, and we deduct the amount of money that she made on Tuesday, we should end up with the amount that she started with. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll take that $75.12, which is the total. We'll deduct what she made on Monday, and we'll deduct what she made on Tuesday. And when we do that, we end up with $24.12 as our final answer. I gotta make that look much nicer than that. Boom. Alrighty. So again, first thing that we did was we set up our model. 2/5 gave us the 2 units. That, in turn, gave us the 5 units for Jerry, since Betsy had 2/5 of Jerry's. The 1/3 came from Betsy's 2/5 being the same amount as Patty's 1/3. We then shared equally, split these units right down the middle, giving us a total of 13 units. We did not know what to assign the 35 and 16 to as far as units go, so we went with what we knew. 13 units equaling $162.76. We did some division, found out that 1 unit equaled $12.52. We then used that information to find out how much Patty has right now by taking $12.52, multiplying it times 6 to give us $75 and change. Once we figured out that amount, we could then deduct the money that she made on Monday and Tuesday and end up with $24.12. The end.